Hi guys, welcome back to our next tutorial. Today we are going to work on a game countdown timer. Let me show you how the output of the tutorial will look like. It is going to be 3, 2, 1 and go. What exactly we are doing in this tutorial is we have a UI view superimposed layer which is going to sit on a UI view controller. So let's directly jump into just launch Xcode 6, select single view application, name it game launch timer and save it to the respective directory. Make sure you have selected Swift language here. Okay, so save it to the respective directory. What we are going to do here is we need to create a file. Make sure you select iOS source Swift file and let me name it as a timer view. Let's create a timer view class here. What we need to define here is this class will be inherited from UI view. So we say timer view is inherited from UI view. It's going to throw an error because we need to say here UI kit. So things are fine. So what we need to define here is a class method, class function. This is how we define a class method. So say we do loading count down timer view in view. So here we want to pass a reference of a super view on which we need to load the timer, which is a type of a UI view. Okay, so return type is going to be a timer view here. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to create a timer view. So let me copy paste here some set of code. I will define what we are. I'll tell you what we are doing here is we have a timer view instance. We give it a frame of a super view frame. Then we say like a timer view background. We set a black color. We also need to set define some. So let me define some global variable and constant required for this class. Say like we need to define view alpha, timer view radius, the view which is going to be in the center of a overlay view. Then we have a timer initial value which is going to be a 3, and then we need a timer to initialize it. What we need to add here is a custom. We need to add a custom circle view here. Circle view. The circle view is going to look like this. So what we are doing here is a reference frame. We are making a reference frame in the center of a overlay view. Then we are setting that frame to a instance of a circle view, which is an instance of a UI view. Then we are setting a corner radius. Then we are setting a border color and border width as respectively. And what we need now is to create a custom label which is going to show us the countdown timer. So we need to add a custom label. Here we are giving it a reference bound to a circle view. Then we are giving the text as a timer value, which we have defined here as 3, and then we're giving font and text alignment, blah blah. So what we need to do here is we will add circle view dot subview. Add subview as a timer label. We add it, and the timer view add subview will add a circle view. Okay, this is going to be a timer view. Then we need to return here timer view. So we are done here. We'll just build to check if there are any issues with this. So it seems fine. So what we need to create here, the other things are, we need to define a method which says start timer. So function start timer. Okay, so here we need to define, one second. Okay, start timer. So we need to start a timer here in this method which says schedule a timer after 1 second and the selector or update time method. So we need to define a selector method here. So what this selector method will do, it will get triggered after every 1 second. So what we are going to do is we are going to reduce the timer value by 1, and then we have different conditions when timer value is equal to 0. So by that time we need to set a text as to go, and if the timer value is less than 0, then we have to invalidate timer and remove view from the super view, the overlay view. And if the case is the timer value is greater than 0, in that case we need to update the text label text value with the updated value. So how this is going to look like, but before that we need to make sure, like, okay, whatever the UI label we have created, it should be accessible outside this method. Just make sure this is a class method. We need to access this variable outside it. So how we are going to do this is we need to define a struct. Okay, let me name it as stored, and we need to define a static var timer label which says UI label. This tells compiler that I know the UI label has a value. You don't need to test it for it. So here how we are going to access it, a timer label, as we're going to change the timer label value. It's going to stored dot timer label. So we are going to change it everywhere. So this is how we're gonna change it everywhere. Stored. Here we're gonna make it stored dot timer label and just build it to check if we are okay. It shows expected type in the argument function declaration. Okay, so we need to declare it here. It's a void type method. Okay, so what exactly we have done here is we need to access this instance variable outside the in the other methods as well, outside the class method. So for that we need to define a structure. So we say structure name is stored, which keep all the static values inside it, which we can access it later in the class. So let's update the update timer method class functions. This is how it's going to look like. Let me give you a quick walkthrough of this. So what we are going to do is this method will get triggered every 1 second. If the value is 0, we are going to set text to go. If the value is less than 0, so by that time we need to make timer invalidated. Then we need to remove this layer from the super view, or in other case, if the value is higher than 0, then we need to make sure like we are updating the timer value. So we are done writing this class. Now we need to write code here. Just build it to check if everything is fine. Yes, everything is fine. So let's have a timer view instance, which is a timer view class. We say timer view. We need to access loading countdown timer in self dot view. Okay, This is how we call it. We pass a reference of a super view to the class, and then we want to start timer view, start timer. Okay, start timer. It should not, sorry, it is going to be a timer view, start timer. That's it. So build, let us build this project. No virus. Let me run this project. So this is how the output is going to look like. Go. Thank you guys. If you have liked this tutorial, please press the like button below this video. Also hit subscribe for the further updates. Thank you very much.